Alright, so Legacy of the Sith released almost a week ago now, and the community has been more vocal than ever. To be honest, it's been very interesting to sit back and watch the reviews pour in the past few days. Well, I decided to take a different approach and hold off from my review until I actually played everything that was new. I also wanted to give myself plenty of time to explore the new features, play the new story.
No, Malgus, this is only the beginning.
Is that it? That was it? On Republic and Imperial side, and play some of the endgame at level 80. You know, operations, master mode flashpoints, that sort of thing. I feel I've played more than enough of the expansion at this point to finally weigh in with my thoughts. Now before we begin, there are a few things that I want to mention. The first, this review won't just be looking at the expansion. This video is the perfect opportunity for me to also give you a clear and concise view of how this game has been handled over the last few years. The second, we're all Star Wars fans here, so let's keep it real with each other. Let's do this.
We talked about it in July where we said we had lots of content, with Legacy of the Sith.
Yeah, we're going to address this first. So I've seen people say that they genuinely feel robbed of their money considering how little story the new expansion offered, which for anyone who doesn't know is about 45 minutes to an hour of gameplay on either faction. I personally finished the Republic side in less than an hour. While we're talking about it, the Republic version of the story was my favourite, but the bar was low here, so I'm not sure how much that means. Like seriously, my assassin literally killed a self-proclaimed god, but he gonna say this to his prisoner?
Here I am. Come and get me. Pathetic.
Right, now I feel pathetic. Back on topic, we're talking maybe 3 hours of gameplay all in all, if you're taking it easy like. This was simply the shortest expansion the game has ever seen. That's not my opinion, that's real. But whoa. The devs did say,
Now, one thing I want to remind everybody is that we showed you a lot of things, but we haven't showed you everything. There's a lot of activity going on behind the scenes, but I really want to remind you, right, that this is just the start, right?
So they plan on drip feeding the content over the year, which implies that by the end of this year we should have a fully fleshed out expansion. The devs have even teased more dramatic changes such as a PvP revamp, crafting revamps, and of course, more story. But wait, that all sounds quite good, so what's the problem? Nearly 7 years ago, the devs of this game decided to make a dramatic decision. A choice that caused waves in the player base, and eventually was the result of thousands of players quitting the game, and hundreds of well-established guilds to depart the game forever. Knights of the Fallen Empire, an expansion that launched with 9 chapters of new story to play, with another 7 chapters added within a year of the launch. Since the devs focused their efforts on story for this expansion, nothing new came in the way of endgame content. The gearing system was replaced with an RNG system, and everyone's beloved companions were torn away from existence for years. This was why so many left the game, but the story was why so many people joined. The devs keep to their promise and delivered story-focused content for the next few years. It wasn't until the end of the Valkorian saga that the devs finally decided to mix things up. While still keeping their focus on story content, they developed Onslaught, which released in late 2019. I already made my video on that one. BioWare is our expansion. Classic. Onslaught was completely different from what people were expecting. The devs were teasing a return to Empire vs Republic, but it seems the player still gets to choose to keep the Alliance around, which might be making things awkward creatively for them. Onslaught's story in a nutshell is that Darth Malgus has returned, some side squabbles between royal houses, then surprise surprise, Malgus becomes the new bad guy at the end. That was it. Albeit they added some Mando themed story later on, which was actually pretty cool, and patch 6.2 Echoes of Oblivion is by far my favourite piece of content in the game story wise. For most people, that update was the real expansion for them with Onslaught. Then we fast forward. Legacy of the Sith. So what is the problem? Onslaught and Legacy of the Sith combined right now have less story content than Knights of the Fallen Empire on launch. Not even just a little less. The problem was expectations. The devs of this game are adamant that story is still their focus point, but this confuses us when they release incredibly short story and label it expansion. Yes, we already covered the drip feed of content, but at this point it's clear as day that less and less is being added and more is being changed instead. The overall takeaway here is the Kotfi and Kurte expansions set the bar on story content for this game, a bar which hasn't been matched ever since. Maybe by the end of this year, we'll have hours more of story. I hope so. A content roadmap would be a good move by the devs right about now. Why they don't just make this entire thing free to play and charge for new story chapters like DLC is completely beyond me. It seems to me one of the best ways forward with this MMO. Let me know what you think. Honestly, why the devs didn't give us a launch similar to previous expansions is something we'll never know. But what is clear to us is that the content is less and less each year. This kind of pattern should be fatal to any MMORPG, but the Star Wars franchise is single-handedly keeping this game alive. Beyond what I've said already, there isn't much more to add in regards to story, but I do want to hear your thoughts too, so please share them in the comments. So people have been asking me, Sam, do you think the devs will listen to the feedback? Well, the simple answer is yes, they will listen. The real question is, will they respond? The BioWare devs have been some of the shyest we've ever seen in the MMO industry. Personally, I think it's a good move for them to do monthly dev streams for things like Q&A or just hanging out and getting to know the players. Unfortunately, ever since we made this video here, the devs have cut our direct line to them, which means if we email them or try to contact them, we'll just be ignored, which is why I can't give you concrete details on whether or not the devs are going to address any feedback. Now I know many of you are wondering what my thoughts are on some of the latest features of the expansion. Well, I can tell you that I really like the loadouts feature. Switching combat styles is also convenient and neat, but also completely pointless at the same time for me. I am actually enjoying the new gearing changes. It's a nice change from just being given awesome gear. Now you have to actually play to get stuff, and honestly, that's the way it should be. In terms of class changes, I'm still getting used to them. I dislike some, but like others. I'm not sure where that puts me. The middle maybe? Also, I hear you all on the user interface. While I don't mind the cleanup on quick bars, nameplates and some other stuff, the inventory UI is just plain horrible. It really needs to be customized so it isn't so vertical. It genuinely hurts my eyes to look at this. It's like someone at the dev office found one of those stare at this picture and it will move things and was like, hey Larry, I got a great prank for the new inventory, man. Alright then folks, that's going to be it from me in this one. If you want to see another player's review, then please check out Peter the Cellcast right here. It does live here on this channel. Thank you for listening everyone. We'd really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing, and we hope to catch you in the next one. Peace.